Hey, Greg. Just want to get your thoughts on the alignment with the 4-4-2 and with Joseph up there on his favored right side, but as a forward, the ideas behind it, and also any ideas that are related to Joe in how you set up.
Yeah, it was not necessarily something that we will always do, but it matches up well against the things that they like to do, the way they structured, and specifically putting Joe on that side, put him a little closer to Gabe so that they could work together. When Joe was able to run out or stretch the field, it gave Gabe some space to be able to work. And as Joe ran out and he recycled on the wing, then he's on his favorite right side sometimes. So it creates a little bit of fluidity, I guess, between the two, and it gives us something different that we wanted to see as well. We were trying not to get Mickey too high, through stretches of the game, and so it allowed Joe and Gabe to work together a little bit on that side and try to pull their back three apart, back five apart. And so it's stuff we've done a little bit in the past. Joe's done it a couple times last year, but I thought just in this particular game and given their qualities, it might be something that works in our favor, and maybe we can get Gabe going a little bit and Joe going doing it. So.
Greg, you talked, I think, about taking care of business in the first leg. Is the 0-0 draw for you taking care of business?
Yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. I think being able to get the shutout is important. Not giving up away goal is huge, I think, in these things. Would like to have had a goal, but I'll take the shutout over the 1-0. I mean, over giving up a goal over a 1-1 or anything like that. So I think it's a good result. Also, us playing clean for 90 minutes, and not doing something to hurt ourselves, but having a clean game, I think, is important. It's something that, after the game the other day, we chatted as a group after the game the next day, and it was something that was important to everybody, that we got to collectively working and shutting down opposition, getting 0. We know we're going to find chances, we're going to create chances, that kind of stuff, but we can't stop shooting ourselves a little bit. And so that's why I think it's important. We set ourselves up there. If we can get one goal, then, win or draw is in our favor. So I think that's a positive thing.
And is there any update on Maya Yoshida?
He started to feel like he was getting tight. And so he sat down as a pro instead of trying to push it. Nothing significant, and from our understanding, it's hamstring related, but it was so it's nothing significant. We'll kind of assess and see what that looks like for this weekend and as we move into next week. But I think he escaped being anything bad. That's what it seems like so far.
Hey, Greg, thanks for your time. Zanka came into a high pressure situation. What did you think of his performance, and then what did you think of Diego in that central role? Thank you.
Yeah, I thought Zanka came in and found the rhythm in the game right away, just comfortable on the ball. I think it was maybe the first time he and Amiro had just played together, just the two of them, and so I thought, immediately those guys are working through their relationship, but I thought it was a very professional performance by him. He's a good game reader. He's a super experienced. Again, his comfort level on the ball and just finding passes and recognizing what pressure is coming at him, things like that. So I thought he had a nice, solid game, and I thought, again, it brought us, by losing someone like Maya who brings some composure to the group, I thought inserting someone like Zanka, I thought he gave us some similar qualities in that regard. So.
Hey, Coach Greg. Talking about the team's attacking performance today, what do you see was good with the attacking, and what adjustments are you planning on working with the team towards breaking the defense of Tigres on your next match with them?
Yeah, I think I think this is an interesting game for me because, and I love these games, if I'm being honest, because the opposition, they have 11 good players who are all competent on the ball, and they have structural ideas, and they are trying to pull you apart. And so for us, you really have to respect every play inside of the game. You have to respect your possessions and making sure you're not just giving the ball back to them because they're too good to be given, and you have to work really hard to get it back. And then when you work defensively, you have to really work with eyes all over your head and communication and making sure that you're taking away things. So these games really require, as they should in MLS, but they really require you to really communicate and use all your resources as a group, help control these teams because they have so much quality on the field and so many different ways to hurt you. And so, so for these games, I appreciate this is a great game for us tonight. And for us, in terms of, I thought we did a good job inside of like the possession. There was times when I feel like we rushed it a little bit, but when we did settle down and we got into a solid structure and we started to move the ball, I didn't feel like they had great solutions for managing our possession moments when we got into our possession moments. It became a game of how to turn those possession moments into like real chances again. You know, again, when teams are in the back five, you have to be able to pull them apart, or else you can run into numbers situations. And so we were trying to do that. It's, again, the 4-4-2 version is not something we play in all the time. So a little bit of that coordination was not always, the timing wasn't always perfect, and the coordinated movements weren't always good. But so we were able to keep the ball, but I don't know that we were able to really pull them apart as much as we would have liked to in the grand scheme of things. So, depending whether we use that or we go down there and something that's a little more traditional for us is to be determined. But again, it just comes down to the timing of things, getting them pulled apart. And there's times where I think we don't play forward when we need to take the risk to play forward. There was a number of windows where I felt like if we were a little more brave to play the ball in a couple instances, we could have turned some of our possessions into real attacks. And I felt like we deferred and played the safe pass instead of maybe taking that moment to try to really punish them with a ball. So there's a little bit of that. We had a couple in transition where I think when you saw Joe out there, we got out in transition and we were a lot faster in those moments. He squared one across, I think, in the first half that we just didn't quite get to. That's not something we've seen yet from us this season, really, that kind of transition speed. So that's something that's also a way we can get goals and goal-scoring chances as we continue to, again, get healthy, get everybody back, get on the same page in some of those situations. So we'll look at the tape and think through what it's going to look like next week. I don't think I have great answers to the second one, nor would I probably give too many of them if I did. But right now, back to Diego. I like Diego in his position. I mean, he was playing in that kind of wide midfield, but he was using an interior position in terms of where he was setting up, not too wide. And I like him. It's just, again, ways that we can get him facing forward and trying to play some final passes for us can help us. And because our fullbacks weren't very high, he didn't necessarily have somebody coming around his backside a ton. And there was times where I thought our fullbacks could have been a little bit more aggressive, and they were maybe just a little bit more cautious at times. And so that would have helped Diego a little bit just in some of the creating some moments that maybe inside of the game turned into possessions where they could have maybe turned into attacks. But I like him in the position. He's, again, systematically, he always has a good sense of what's going on. I thought his defending was very good as well. And I thought Christian's defending work was really good for us. Like, his tactical awareness defensively just helps everything become a little cleaner. And so I thought, those guys did a really solid job.
Hey, Greg, back here. Hey. First of all, your thoughts on Nasi's 45-minute run, and then also for McCarthy. You said you wanted someone to step up and take that position. It's one game, but it's one game coming off the error he had against Orlando City. How did you see his night play out?
Yeah, I thought he had a nice, solid, clean night. He made a couple of good saves. There's a couple that he stymied right in, that got through the lines, and he was right there. I thought majority of his on the ball, his distribution decisions were good. A couple where I think, again, it's really expensive when you lose the ball easily or in certain moments against teams that are this talented and this good with the ball, and it becomes a lot of defensive work to get it back. A couple, maybe one or two that we could have talked about something a little bit different, but again, he managed the game well, and the team got through it well. So I thought he was good. There's no question what John McCarthy can do. All the nonsense about all this crisis crap is nonsense. We have two good goalkeepers, and they're both very capable. There's one job to do, and I know what each of them is capable of doing. John has done it for an entire season. I have the utmost confidence in John. And he came back out tonight and showed why he's that veteran goalkeeper. He can bounce back. So he made a mistake, and And on my team, people are allowed to make mistakes. You just got to respond to them the right way, and you got to bounce back, and you got to do your job. And he did a nice job tonight. And I would say that for all 11 positions on the field, they're all a competition, and they're all about, can you do your job on a consistent basis? And John certainly did that, and he's done that a lot for us over the last 2 years, so I have no concerns about that. Oh, I'm sorry, Nasi. I thought he's learning. I guess that's the best thing I would say. You know, just also like just some of the tactical things to work with that striker and how to press and when to press. He was a little indecisive, and I think Christian's really trying to talk him through some situations. I think that led to them having a little bit more of the ball in the second half because it wasn't as coordinated as it was in the first half. So there's just some tactical things. Also with the ball, there's just some tactical moments where maybe he's running away when I wanted him to be coming to the ball to present himself as an option to play off of. So some of those things are tactical, and that's learning and process. Some other things is just, I think, again, when he's being played in the ball, he was having a hard time holding up the ball against some real physical pressure and behind, and that's just, again, it's getting stronger, getting cleaner, knowing his outs a little faster, things like that. So for him, it's experience. You know, a lot of this is going to be about experience, learning inside of our team and what the expectations are in our team. You know, the one thing, if I could light a little fire under his rear end just to be just a little more aggressive and a little more nasty, I think he would benefit from that. That's the one thing personality-wise I really want to see from him, is like just be so hungry to want to get to the goal and get in front of the goal and to battle for every little detail inside of that. But some of the other stuff is learning. There's a lot of things going on up here for him right now, I'm sure. So it's patience and process, you know, and he'll continue to work towards it.
All right. Thank you for your time, Gregory.
Thank you.
Mix zone is
Recording
open.
stopped.
Players are